But we are going to teach him that you can't do this. You should not do this. So usiogope. There is a way they are also paying for their own sins that they have tried to do. But I can't also blame them. I can tell you that the national government is doing all it can to frustrate the county government, especially the ones that are from the Azimio side. And they are using every means of way, PR, intimidation, all these things. Why send Ruto's daughter to every county to greet the... What was the role of that?
Where was she?
Julia, what happened in Elgeyo Marakwet is Murkomen was shouted down by his people. He tried to campaign for UDA and he was told, talk up, aenda kwa ofisi, hatukutaki. And he was shouted and he was very much embarrassed to a point that he had to stop to talk. And it went on not only for a few minutes, it went on for as long as he was speaking. So if you missed that, then go to YouTube and see what happened in Elgeyo Marakwet. Then you will understand what happened. It is a political legacy. It's a syndrome. People are sick and tired of UDA's lies because it has caught up with them. Now school fees, we are opening schools and all of us are going to face the same consequences. It's not like the UDA people are going to pay less school fees. I wish it was like that. All of us are going to pay the same school fees. So Julia, that's what happened if you didn't see that. And you should come to the panel. Wacha kuongea kutoka hapo nyuma. I'm done, Son PK.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Alex. Geoffrey still has something. Okay, come on.
Yeah,
Geoffrey.
I agree with you, Alex.
And then I also welcome N Island. Okay, Geoffrey.
Okay, kila kitu ambacho umesema is okay. It's very true that the guy lied to people. Vitu kama mambo ya SGI, he lied to people in Mombasa. Akadanganya watu kuwa akiingia atarudisha sijui port Mombasa kutoka from Naivasha aleta Mombasa. Nothing happened. So it's very true that people are bitter hapa chini. But now what I was talking about is somebody to guide us. You know, like we in Mombasa, hakuna mtu ambaye anatulead. Kama tuseme watu kama Kinokanga wako na hiyo nini na hiyo mkutano nao kila siku. They talk mpaka hata kwa media wanaonekana. But for us kila kitu iko quiet. Watu wanalia njaa, watu wanalala njaa, kazi hakuna, school fees hiyo watu wanafaa walipe, but there's nothing. So what I was saying is either like Mutembei TV, bora tufanye iwe almost 24 hours. Kwa sababu kama sasa ndio watu wameamka in Kenya, at least watu wanaweza ingia wakasikia what is happening, alafu watu wanakuwa prepared. Kwa sababu hii najua itaenda for around saa 3 saa 4 mtakuwa mshafunga tayari. Watu hakuna kitu wanapata. But tukisema tu tusimame hivi, hakuna mtu anatuguide hapa underground. Ni watu tu tunaumia, but hakuna mtu anatuambia twende. Hakuna mtu anatuambia tufanye hivi.
Asante Geoffrey kwa huo ujumbe. Na Gaucho, chairman wa bunge la wananchi Kenya, mahali popote ulipo, Mombasa branch yako haifanyi kazi. We are announcing this, we are calling you from this channel. Gaucho, okay, Bwana Okanga, harakisheni Mombasa, muende muanjishe hiyo engine. Bunge la wananchi liko kila county. So if it's not Mombasa, it's not active, then actually they are trying to revamp every county. It's supposed to be active with the discussions going on almost every day. Nakumbuka Mombasa, bunge la wananchi lilikuwa linakutana pale nani karibu kwa PC. Zamani ilikuwa kunaitwa kwa PC, sasa ni regional. Hapo baada ya nani? Yeah, sijui siku hizi wana meet wapi. But Mombasa should not be lagging behind. Because bunge la wananchi, that is where wananchi have a voice. That is where they are able to talk. That's where they are able to say and express whatever they are feeling. That bunge was going to be strengthened by Azimio because Azimio wanted direct feedback from an alternative source. Because unajua mabunge wengi wanaingiaga, wengine they can be bribed so easily. Yeah? But pale ni mwananchi wa kawaida. And that's why it was going to be strengthened with equipments so that they are able to air their views directly. And we value them. We value Jacaranda, we value ile ingine ya pale Mfangano, kunaitwa nani? Jivanji. Okay? and we value even this other one which is around Maendeleo, not Maendeleo, what we call it, International House, pale Juma Mangina Street. Yeah, we know all where these bunges are and they are doing great job. Sasa Mombasa, Geoffrey, tumeshika hiyo, na those of us who have access to akina Okanga, access to Kaucho, by the end of this program we are going to talk to him. Na Gaucho listens also, is part of this, so hiyo amepata. Hiyo ingine at 24 hours, it is true. We are going to intensify, because what we are doing here, I know somebody was saying inciting and all that. Inciting is a very good thing if you are inciting people for the right thing. It is only bad when you are inciting them for a negative thing. But now telling people you are suffering, hautaweza kulipa fees, uko na njaa, na una njaa kwa sababu mtu ameiba chakula yako, una njaa kwa sababu mtu ameenda kuleta fertilizer when you need food, una njaa because wale wote waliiba hela ya Kenya wameambiwa hawajaiba, wametolewa hizo kesi, so they are not going to return the stolen money. They are free to use that money, and the money they have which was stolen from Kenya is now personal. Kwa hivyo hakuna faida itasaidia Mkenya. So if that is incitement, let it be. If telling Kenyans that this government, whether you give it 30 years, 40 years, 100 years, it will never benefit you. Why? Because we have indicators. If a leader doesn't know how to dress, even if you give him 100 years, he will not know how to dress. If you give a hyena 100 years, it will never change into a condor. Never. Simba ni simba, hyena ni hyena, mbuzi ni mbuzi. Okay? So definitely, whether people like it or not, things are going to be that way. And as we said, it's a matter of choice. Tuna njia mbili tu. Okay? Tuna njia mbili. Tuvumilie kuisha ama we stop it. Usipoziba ufa, tutajenga ukuta. Na ukuta utakuwa mgumu sana. Nchi ya Kenya, example is there. 24 years destroyed this country. Tukashindwa na Korea. Now we are begging Korea. Our president, he's not my president. That president of Kenya went to Korea
So
to beg.
you have to withdraw that statement.
Yes, very fast. It was a slip of the tongue, very bad slip of the tongue. He went to Korea to beg. Imagine, unaenda kubeg mtu mliingia na yeye standard 1. Alikupita wewe ukifanya ujinga yako, ukaanguka mitiani, akamaliza, akaenda, akajijenga, then you go to beg. 24 years retrogressed us so much. Now we have...
And someone respond to this guy called Ruto.
Let's meet. Okay. People have mute. We need some people to mute. Wainaina, just mute before you come in. Yeah. Okay. I want to bring in other people. Sisi tumeongea sana. I know Lea, you are there. Let me bring Wainaina. I saw Wainaina. Do you want to say something? Just go ahead.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I hope maybe I'll speak later. Just proceed. I'll speak later.
Good morning. I thought it was me.
Oh, yeah. You know the problem, you are behind the curtain. That's why I didn't know whether you are ready. Yeah, go ahead and then Wainaina. Wait.
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. Wait a little bit.
No,
I just because I'm outside. I'm at work. That's why I have to. My phone is in my pocket. That's why.
Go ahead.
Nikieka. Yeah. So I just wanted to. Hata sitakaa sana. I wanted to congratulate PK because jana I said I'm going to sleep. Nimeamka saizi and Sunday morning show is still going on. I had a chance to listen to I don't know, it was PK when you talked about you during Moi era, and it's true. Ali, I know Alex said about the problem right now is tribal, the tribal, whereby if a governor has to stand, it has to be only in that I mean, it has to be the tribe person. For example, governor of Kisii, governor of Kisumu, and governor of Mombasa cannot stand in Kisumu. I'm a governor of Kisii cannot stand in Nairobi. But Nairobi right now, because of Sakaja, at least it's metropolitan, and that's why. So it reminds me like in New York, whereby anybody, even people who came long time ago, migrated to America from Mexico, I'm the Latino. Nowadays, they can also, so long as you have a American passport, they can also vie to be mayor of the city, or people, for example, not only Latino, but also from Italy, like Cuomo's. Now, what I wanted to say again is, I won't be long. What I wanted to say is to give a remarks about your Bunge la Wananchi. I used to think Bunge la Wananchi is also in Kisumu. I think they should also create another one in Kisumu. And those guys who are Okanga, they're also doing incredible job
Just
whereby,
sorry, Nifa. Just
yeah,
sorry for interrupting you. Just to inform you, there's Bunge la Wananchi across the country. There's one in Kisumu. I think
okay.
sometime when I was in Kisumu, I used to attend some. So it's
Okay.
been developed.
Okay, that's great. So what we need to do, so I support also PK. PK talk about who your Gaucho. I don't know who Gaucho is, but he should be told we should extend whereby if you guys need some equipment, we should also to let a pack a radio. We should also bring radio. And it's not it will be also part of the income generation whereby how those guys wawe at least wanapata, they get also something, you understand, because the whole day you could imagine wanasimama hapo sisi. Okay, me, I'm not that, I'm not like you guys millions a long time. I used to listen to you until I said let me also come, I contribute something. And that's why if you're a Kenyan and you're also staying outside the country, it's not only for those Kenyans who are staying in the country, it's also for all of us, because we also have friends, we have neighbors, and we have Kenyan who are family also. And like I said the other day, when a Kenyan is suffering, no matter how we're outside, and I salute also our brothers who are living in the United States, like Akina, I don't know if it's Alex or Kenyan with love, they're also doing something. So we should also, people who are outside, we should also try to see how we are going to boost you people on the ground. And that's how going to be to keep nini hivyo polepole until we get tutapata hiyo the public view. Hiyo ni kitu ya kwanza, na kitu ya pili, of course, whoever somebody said huko bunge la wananchi na wanasikilizwa na sisi, of course they are listening to us, wanatusikiliza vizuri sana, but to them it's a little bit hard because wakiona they don't know who nani anaongea from where, anatokea wapi. I think there are people who in the show from Europe, also from America, and I don't know if we have also Kenyans who are living in Scandinavia. I will try to mobilize, because I remember when they said for the first time diasporans we are going to nenda kusimama, but some of us tulikataa because yeah, the people from so Kenyans living in Scandinavia, they're also majority. That's what I'm saying. I will try to get, because tulikuwa wengi, tulikuwa kwa mtandao pia, and we wanted to vote, lakini tulikataa with some of village Chebukati, I don't know what's coming, I don't know, tukasema hapana, if he has to come we have to engage with him one on one. Hatutakubali ati watu wengine wanatu represent. And then we said some of us are living in the first world country, and living in a first world country, there's no way ati mtu anakuja ati anaenda Ujerumani peke yake and then sisi sote tunafuata, tutakubali. And then we said sisi pia we are paying taxes, and if you are paying taxes, hiyo pesa yenye inaletwa huko, it's part of we Kenyans who are living outside, the same like our remittance. Tukituma pesa, there's a way the country you know, the country that you're living in is a win-win situation, and the country also at home. So sisi kama, if it's anything, hata sisi pia, we also tuna spend because in the courtesy of our people, our family members, our relatives, our friends, some of our friends, our people we went to in school with in Kenya. And then sasa kumalizia, nilikuwa nataka kusema I'm only happy that you are talking about we should also be engaged, whereby kuna wale ambao hiyo ya bunge la wananchi, na sisi wenye tunakuwa kwa mtandao the whole night kama kina PK since last night. You know, ukiangalia me, I went to sleep like 4 hours. Nimeamka and you're still there. So I'll say all of you wale bunge wananchi na nyinyi wenye mko kwa panel pia, you are also doing incredible job. So hivyo polepole mkisonga polepole hivyo, and also the nini, but I'm also interested na radio, whereby tutapata radio, tukishapata radio tunaweka into different counties, whereby pia nina run 24 hours ndo wajue kweli these people are really serious about it. Na sasa hiyo message itakuwa through, and after that ndio sasa tutaanza kuangalia vile nini ikianza, sahii session ikianza in UN, tujue vile I can get you guys, mtakuwa mnakuja and then we come and debate. Tuna debate huko, wakikuja na nyinyi pia mnakuja. That's how it's supposed to be. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ireland, for that idea. It is true. If we can have those radio stations, I know these days they are very easy to set up. If you have an idea of how we can get some of that support, then I think we can inbox each other, and then we see how we can support those people and also establish community radios in the mashinani. That's the only way you can light this fire, because people need to be enlightened, people need to be informed. I realize people take advantage of lack of information. Manake kuna watu ambao kwa sasa they are suffering. Ukiwauliza wanasema si tuliambiwa tuchague Ruto. You know, mashinani, you know, for those who are in town, cities and all that, ukisafiri kwenda village ndio utashangaa. People cry, ukiwauliza kwa nini mlipigia, wanasema si ndio vile mlisema. Ati tulisema. Nani walisema? Ati you people from town. Because there was no information. In fact, there was no information to counter the propaganda that was being sold to people. This I can attest. I was there throughout the campaign. I could see how people are being lied to. In my own constituency, people are blindfolded. Walifanywa kufikiria, yani they were bombarded with propaganda, but there was no counter. So they only took what they were being told as gospel truth. Now is when they are crying. They are saying how they did not believe that they could be lied to by the likes of Ruto. You know, people in the rural area, wakisikia deputy president, walikuwa wanachukua ni kama Mungu wa pili. Yeah? And that is where we did not have proper counter of the rubbish or uongo. We did not heat fire with fire. We went kupoza moto. Unaenda kupoza moto na moshi. Moto inapozwa na maji. Ama kama utaki maji, moto ikiwashwa washa yako. Mioto mbili inakuwa moto moja. So that is what we need, and we need to mobilize people. People need to know the reason why things are happening the way they are happening. What's the truth? I'm so disappointed with the media in Kenya today. They have all gone dead. Media in Kenya have come to confirm that Ruto won elections. Point number one. When initially everyone knows Ruto stole elections. So media imegeuka ikakuwa wanasema Ruto won. I was listening to Ngojiri of Nyeri. Is admitting, and he said that they had joined Azimio to be in government. Now that Azimio is not in government, they'll go to where government is. Alex and my brothers who are on this panel, what do you think of such a human being who says I was in this party because I knew it was going to form government, but now that they have not formed government, I have to go to this other side? Such people should never talk in front of human beings. as Stone PK out. How you, sasa huyo ni kiongozi aina gani Alex na Winton? Ati ulikuwa kwa hii party juu unajua itakuwa serikali. So it was not your brain. Winston, it's your chance.
Just a minute before we
just
Pa.
okay. My name is Winston. I go by the name Sir Winston Ojuang. I'm from Houston. Let me know something, okay? There's nothing as good topics that you guys are talking about. I've been listening to you guys for a long time, okay? Okay. Baba will always be the champion of leadership in Kenya. You understand that, right? Baba is everything. No, not everything, but no. There's this thing. I know I'm a Luo, so I'm a Juang, so I was saying. Baba said this in 2007. There is song by Onipa J. But yeah. And then Onipa J said in the same song, say, "No mane wona no pedo na se tieko getiende." It means if my brother and my dad Ali Panda, what it meant in context was Ford Kenya is gonna be back. Ford, yeah, I can NDP, I can Chinya Maji, I can. So Baba has always been the pioneer of Kenyan politics. I don't get yeah. The thing is 2023 ni upendo peke yake. Kama Baba alicheza na Uhuru, let's take it for whatever it is. Because we know what Baba means for Kenya. We know that as a fact. Baba is for Kenya. Ruto ni shetani yake na hata Y2K. I don't want. Yes. The thing is, let's just pray for Baba's legacy. If anything happens, yeah, that's why when I asked for Alex to give me a chance to talk to you guys as a man, because Baba will Simbarati na Joho is the next leadership, and I mean that out of my heart. Yes, I'm a young at heart. Yes, I'm 40-something years old. Okay, listen to it. I'm not looking younger, but yeah. Those are nearly years. Yeah. So on this benefactor, I'm gonna give it to Alex to. Okay. So how do I start from this? And who's the moderator?
I'm the moderator, Stone PK. Thank you, Sana Winston.
Yeah.
Thank you for your contribution, and we really appreciate. Yes, Baba is the icon and all that. Thank you so much, Winston. From there, I want to go to Leah now. You are ready?
All right, thank you. Actually, I was just following up on the stories, and it surprises me that when I even check on the comment chat, there is this person called Geoffrey Ruto. I don't know from which bush he's coming from, that claiming that Bunge la Wananchi is a group of idlers is really sad, and he really needs to apologize. If you look at the history of revolution and those people who really revolutionized and changed how our governments work, most of them have come from Bunge la Wananchi. If you go to our parliament today or in these offices, elective offices, majority of them got their political roots from the Bunge la Wananchi. If you start with the Simba Arati, the current Kisii governor, he used to be a staunch member of Bunge la Wananchi. Most of these MPs, that is where people practice leadership, they practice debate, and those MPs who pass through the Bunge la Wananchi, I think that the best lawmakers if you go to the parliament. So those guys are not idlers. And if at all you call them idlers, then you need to blame Ruto, who promised to give these guys 500,000 jobs each year. So the fact that Ruto failed to create these jobs is the reason why these people are still idling there. We are in the quarter of the year. So if you promise 5,000 jobs in quarter of the year, right now we should be having like 50,000 people already absorbed in the government departments. But what did you see? We saw even the little that they used to get from the government through Kazi kwa Vijana was scrapped off. So I think these groups like Bunge la Wananchi, these awareness that we're creating here are the only solution that we have as a country that is going to ensure we push for the right direction in our government. As Alex have just said, most of these people, Kenyans are suffering because of ignorance. We are not given information. Our mainstream media is currently captured. Our mainstream media is captured and they only advance the agenda of the government of the day. There are some things that if you want to know, like nowadays people don't watch news. Those people who know will not wait for this 1 o'clock or the 9 o'clock news. They'll simply go to Facebook or YouTube channels to get the real information. Because after all, the news we watch in this TV are just confirmation of what you already know, what has already been given to us. So people don't get the right information. And if you have an opportunity, like those people, there are some who've been following Facebook and they even don't follow the right people who can give them the right information. They follow propaganda sites like the pages owned by Dennis Itumbi, who will be propagating. Like yesterday, I saw this guy lying that there is no charges on M-Pesa to bank transactions, only for Kenyans to show him screenshots of how they've been charged. So we need to go out there. That radio station is a good idea. At least we need to reach those people who are in Mashinani. They're the ones who are suffering. And the majority of the ones who voted for this guy, you call your president, the Venezuelan president Ruto, are the ones who are in remote areas. And specifically the remote areas of Central where people are always busy in their farms. So they did not get information. They don't know much of this guy. They don't know how harmful this guy is. So it is upon us to keep on preaching to them and tell them, this is what these people mean. When they tell you kazi kwa vijana, this is what they mean. When they tell you they are going to revive economy, this is what they mean. They're not going to revive economy. They're going to revert economy back to the olden days where we came from. So it is high time we need to reach each and everyone. I like this kind of forums. They really create awareness, and in any community, I work with some communities that are reviving themselves, the ones that are recuperating from wars and such things. What happens? The first thing you normally do, even these organizations, before you transform community, you have to create awareness. You have to do an awareness campaign. So what we're doing here is right. We are really creating an awareness whereby somebody somewhere will be able to know that there is something wrong and there is something that needs to be done. So that is what we need to do. Otherwise, thank you. I'm still around. I think today we have to take this show the whole day. I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere. So those ones who will like to stay, we'll keep on. The conversation will have to continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Leah. Yeah, that's good. I hope we can be able. You'll try to check with our colleagues what's the maximum hours we need to do for one show, and then moving forward.
The last.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Leah. You froze. Okay, we've lost Leah temporarily, and as we progress, I would like to kind of add a voice to what Leah has just said. That the naysayers, the cowards of the time, the ignorant, people are the ones who would demean what the power of their majority is all about. And these are the ignorant who don't even read, They don't research. They don't know. They don't want to know how revolutions are done, what happens. You know, that level of ignorance is unbelievable. If somebody can can just vilify bunge la wananchi, that's a very ignorant Kenyan. Maybe there are people who left Kenya many years ago. They are so disoriented, and what they see or watch on YouTube and news is just very selective. Sometimes I meet people when they come back home, back to Kenya, and somebody, the way they talk and things they say, it's weird actually. Some of these people living abroad cannot even address a gathering of 3 people other than their family members on any political issue. They are ignorant kuliko hata sijui watu wengine gani. If somebody can talk nonsense about bunge la wananchi, huyo ni mtu ambaye ni pumbavu, hajui chochote. There are people who pass in town, umevaa kasuti kako, you see people discussing, you can't stop there to listen because you have no clue. Una idea, you are not able even to understand what people are saying. Yeah. Bunge la wananchi is so powerful. It discusses issues. It creates awareness. So if you don't know about bunge la wananchi, please keep off. Kabisa, achana na hiyo. You are just a group of those very ignorant Kenyans who pretend to know, yet you know nothing about siasa and what is ailing people. Yeah, you unapita na maviekti yako. Well, unaona two people gathering there, then you dismiss them saying they are idle people. That is very, 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 very insulting to those Kenyans. Some of them, there are people who are very learned, yeah, and they are there. They exchange very, very gigantic ideas. It is wrong to try and think that those are idlers there. In fact, in Kenya, there are no idlers. Ata Chokora is not an idler. Sorry to say that. They have their life. They are earning their life. They are busy hacking their life. It is very insulting to think that somebody is idle. Idle na umulishi. Jeremani, unaita mtu idle na hata umulishi. You don't know what that person eats. You don't know where that person sleeps. Kenyans, get out of that, man. Get out of here and stop that nonsense. Okay, let's get to somebody else who wanted to say something. Jeremani, you have something? As we wait for Leah to get connected.
Yes, I had something I'd wanted to share. And I saw this report released yesterday. This is a report of, this is called the Social Progress Index report. Let me give you some highlights from it that I thought should concern Kenyans. Give me a brief moment to retrieve it.
Jeremani, you are frozen. Or?
Sorry, I was retrieving the report. I wanted to highlight something from it. So the Social Progress Index report says the following: that Kenya is ranked number 115 in the world. Our basic human index needs is at 58.81. The foundation of well-being is at 61.49. In terms of opportunities, we stand at 53.59. The other thing I noticed from this report that I thought is on the weak side is that our inclusiveness is at 36%. And those are the areas that we rank lowest. The access to advanced education is at 42.39%. Personal safety is at 47%. Health and wellness stands at 50%. Shelter is at 58%. The reason I say this concerns me is because we seem to have other priorities. When I say we, I mean government, other than the things that will actually improve the uh, uh, conditions of everyday Kenyans. And when I look at the first 100 days of the current government, I'm concerned that none of what I've mentioned features in the discussion, or at least in the public pronouncements I hear from people representing government. And I thought that should be a point of concern. I don't know if Alex and Strong PK will say this is beyond the thought realm of the current government and that we should have a different approach to addressing those matters. It was a general comment I had. I thought to just share.
You see, I like what you have said because data is very important. Even in the IT, I think data right now, people are doing data. I think is amongst one of the highest paid because data is what helps the government to understand where it's coming and where it's going to. However, when you give it an empirical, as one of our friends has said, when you give an empirical data, you have to compare it with something. Kenya is a country of contradictions. Kenya is a country of disparities. Kenya is a country whereby the richest of the richest live and the poorest of the poorest live. That's why we have upper current and lower current. That's why you find expatriates, when they, like most of the expatriates, like three consecutive ambassadors of US, when they finished their terms, they decided not to come back. I think one of them hata alitengeneza makaratasi Kenya, akawa Mkikuyu na akatengeneza makaratasi. So when you give that data, you must understand that that data is you gave the data for you and me. But there's another data for others who have big bellies and big pockets. whereby if you had to rank them, they have the best houses in the world, they live in the best climate in the world, they eat the best organic food in the world, and we can go on and on and on. There are roads, the kind of flowers that you see outside. I mean, go to Mutula Kilonzo Senior's house and just look outside and compare to Barack Obama's house in Washington, D.C. Let's be honest. Can you compare those two houses? No, I want you to Google right now Barack Obama's house in Washington, D.C. and the late Mutula Kilonzo, and you compare the houses. Can you even compare them? So Kenya is a country of contradictions. Kenya is a country of disparities. This guy, Kamlesh Patni, once said, you know, when he changed from Kamlesh Patni to Paul, he became a Christian. He said a statement that I will never forget, and that was in Standard. That was many years ago. He said, Kenya is the Switzerland of Africa. In fact, somebody has said something here that is even important that you should read. Mutula Kilonzo even had lions in his own boma, and he was feeding them with goats. Eh? So you can imagine the way we are a country of contradictions. Eh? So, Jeremani, so when you give empirical data, understand that, you see, and that's why we want this thing to come to an end. If there was equal distribution of wealth, Kenya will be at a level whereby I can tell you we will all be in the upper middle class. The problem is the greediness that has been entrenched to a point whereby we are forgotten. And I think that somehow there's a way Kagame tried to resolve that. And what did Kagame do? He abolished all private hospitals and private schools so that you don't have the haves and have-nots. So that all of us become equal. If you have to go to the hospital, the rich and the poor must meet there. What happens in that case? The rich will make sure that the hospital don't stink. The rich will make sure that the hospital is better because that's where they are gonna go. So, and that's why I'm telling you that that data that you read is for the poor, for you and me. But there is another 24% in Kenya who live better. If you tell them to go to other countries, they will say capital N-O. They will never want to leave Kenya because their lives are good. So, and that's why we are fighting that. And we must fight that. The wealth distribution in our country must be equal. In my state of Minnesota, the governor, Mr. Welch, who used to be a congressman, when he became the governor, he heavily taxed the rich people to a point that right now we have a state whereby healthcare is almost free. Food subsidies for kids and all this is almost equaling. The school districts are better than they were before. And those are the kind of things we are saying. If you are paying taxes, you got to see the services. We have a system in Kenya whereby people have been paying in my ward, Jogo, in Kisii town. That's where I've built, in my ward, Jogo. People have been paying taxes and Jogo Primary School has remained the same since 1980. So that empirical data you are giving is for you and me. But there's the richer people who are in our country. When Queen Elizabeth became a queen, she became a queen when she was in Kenya. How? Because she had come for a vacation in Kenya. One of the biggest conservatory in the world is Laikipia does not even belong to us. Laikipia belongs to, you understand, I don't even want to say. So that data is skewed. And such kind of data, sometimes when you see it, it is meant to discourage us and so that we may think that, oh, we are done. No, Kenya is a progressive country whereby, as Kamlesh Patil said, Kenya is the Switzerland of Africa. And if we did right and distributed the wealth very well and abolished these private hospitals called Nairobi Hospital, so and so, you will see our hospitals become better, you will see our schools become better, and our life will start improving. But I don't agree with that data. That data only belongs to me and you. There is those people who are up there like the Rutos, the Railas, whose children went to Makini, Brookside. Do you know there are people who are paying in Kenya? Do you know there are people who are paying 1.2 million per term? What are you talking about? So that data must be compared to something so that we can bridge the gap, so that we can make people angry, you and me. So when we are giving that data, let us not give it as if it's equal. No. Let us give it into comparison, into something, so that we can make people angry and mad so that they can go after what they are supposed to go. And that's why we must have this conversation. Let us not just give blank data without saying that there are people up there who have mansions that are bigger than Bill Gates in Kenya. In Kenya, Jacob Juma had a house. When Jacob Juma died, they showed his house. 7,000 trees. 7,000. Do you know what that means? Boma yako iko na miti 7,000. What is that? So you must compare it with it, Jeremiah, with something. The richest of the richest live in Kenya. Every president in Africa has something in Kenya. That is why the other time when Ruto was trying to cancel Joho's companies from transporting, Kir called Ruto directly and told him, because Kir has invested heavily in Kenya. Most presidents in Africa they have a house in Nairobi. Go to Upper Hill and see.
Bill Gates Bill Gates was there too.
Go to Upper Hill.
Bill Gates was there.
Go to Upper Hill and see how people live. You cannot compare them with you and me. Okay. And then you ask yourself, where did I go wrong in life? Where did they go right in life? So your data is not right. Compare it with something, and you will see the difference.
Yes, Jeremiah.
Allow me.
PK,
Allow me to
before Jeremiah,
qualify.
before Jeremiah had to say something, I wanted to make some remarks on Alex. Alafu Jeremiah, just a little bit on
Okay.
data.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Island umepotea.
The mic is off.
okay. Yeah, okay. So Queen Elizabeth, to Alex, Queen Elizabeth did not become the queen in Kenya. And it cannot happen according to their royal kingdom. When the father died, she was in a visit.
What I meant was...
No, listen. Wait, I finish. Because you just said your remarks. I just wanted to correct. She never became, listen now. She never became the queen in... No, wait. No, you said she was a queen in Kenya. And that's why I want to correct you. She was never a queen in Kenya. When the father died, she was in visit in Kenya. But of course, she's the first one. Of course, she was the one to be. And she was rushed to go back to Kenya. You understand? I'm saying this because I'm in British Association in Kenya, in wherever you said. And you just said that Switzerland is the richest, whatever. It could be true. But you know, they also, it's a small country. Switzerland is a small country. That one I can say yes, but not really behind corruption. You understand? So I have to correct you like too. And data, when you're talking about data, everything is based on data nowadays. You understand? So if Njerumani was comparing the data, maybe you should say in another way, in Kenya, we have so many people who are rich, which is true, is not. Even the former Nigerian Obasanjo, I hear also he has some residents in Mombasa, around Kilifi there, I don't know. So, but just to let you know, everything is on data, whether you like it or not. You understand? Maybe the data in Kenya is a corruption data, because data, everything has to be done on data. So when Jirumani is speaking about data, maybe it's us who should. We talked about creating awareness and communication, how many people in Kenya are going to listen to what we are saying and what we are advocating. You understand? But we also need data. We cannot just do stuff like that. We have to do with data. So that's what I wanted to let you know.
I want to respond to you. First of all, you did not understand what I said. And secondly, I want to say this. When we give statements, it is your duty to synthesize them and understand what somebody is saying. I literally said she became a queen when she was in Kenya, not being inaugurated in Kenya. Because when his father died, she was in Kenya in a vacation. If you do not understand that, I don't know your state of mind. Secondly,
That's what I said. That's what I'm saying. She was on visit in Kenya. And I'm saying like this because my grandmother, mother to my mother, met them when they were there at Lake Victoria.
fair or
So
not,
you say it, you understand. Listen. You cannot become there by there because she's a firstborn. And of course, automatically, if your father died, according best to royal kingdom, of course you are the one. But you said, you say, I did not understand. Of course I understand. That's why I'm saying we should not fight. I'm saying she did not become the queen in Kenya. She was in visit and then the father died. So she was rushed. She had to go back to United Kingdom again. So that, and it's not inauguration. You understand? Kingdom is not inauguration. It's only presidential, which is inauguration.
So what's the bone of contention here?
Short contention is, when we're speaking PK, we have to be very careful what we are speaking. You understand? And some of us, when we are speaking, we are there to correct our fellow panelists. You understand? And correction does not mean she's right, I'm not right. When she say even the queen became, you understand? The let be queen. This is a wrong statement. We have to be very careful.
I am not going to argue with somebody who today said that Gachagua is a good person. That one, I'm not going to do that.
It's not saying that Gachagua is a good person. We were debating saying it's not gonna happen. Gachagua cannot be impeached. And even today in the morning, as I'm talking, they've already defended him. You understand? It's not saying he's a good person. Ruto is neither a good person. Moi, neither we are saying he's not a good person. Uhuru Kenyatta was neither a good person. You understand? They are also not good person. They are not good people, all of them. And that's why we're here, we are talking.
Can I provide some
point noted? Progress. Let's make progress.
Can I finish with my point of order, please?
Go ahead, Alex.
I'm not going to argue with somebody who today said several times that Gachagua is a good person. And when we asked him the things Gachagua said, he said Gachagua has never said anything wrong. So that kind of mindset is what I'm saying. I'm not going to argue, and I'm not going to talk with somebody.
And ask him, Alex, I'm a female. I'm not him. I'm a female. Her. It's her. Again, I'm correcting you. Again.
Thank you. So I'm not going to argue with somebody who thinks Gachagua is a good person and Gachagua has never done anything wrong. That kind of mindset, I've said no. And we must speak with the truth here. We cannot argue with people who are not progressive. Mr. Jeremani, I did not say that your data is wrong. What I'm saying is that there is also another, as kudanganya hapa that I was saying your data was wrong. I'm only saying that there is a group of people up there that we must fight in order to bridge and come to where we ought to be. There are people who have literally more than colonists who have colonized us in our own country. That's what I was saying. Paul Jeremani, if you thought that I was dispelling your data, no. Thank you.
Noted.
Yes, Jeremani.
Oh, sorry, Stone, you want to? Okay. So noted, Alex. I got the import of your concern or your debate. I actually did not take any offense to it. Also, maybe what Nifa was also coming at is the element of the queen. But what I also know from history is that Princess Elizabeth went up the treetops hotel in Nyeri, a princess, at night. When she came down in the morning, she was a queen. There is usually no vacuum when the Queen Elizabeth died, immediately Charles became king. So it's just a matter of technicality that the inauguration took place later. But when she came down the treetops in 1952, she was effectively a queen. But what I wanted to share is something else. The social progress index data that I shared, and social progress was defined, was prepared by an organization called Social Progress Imperative. The report is available online. They ranked 169 countries, of which I shared Kenya was number 115. How do they define social progress? They define social progress as the capacity of a society to meet the basic needs of its citizens, establish the building blocks that allow citizens and communities to enhance and sustain the quality of their lives. Essentially, what I'm saying, and I come to the point Alex made, yes, we have a couple of people at the top. What this progress report says is that we have a lot of people at the bottom. And what we ought to be looking at is how do we bridge the gap between those at the bottom and those at the top so that we have a more flattened society. Flattened means equal society, where we don't have so many people enjoying the fruits of a country while others are at the bottom wondering, are we in the same country? That's the point I was trying to make with my data. I've also seen the concern from Mohammed on the comment section. Yes, when empirical data is shared, context has to be given. What is this data being compared to? And as I've shared, this was ranking 169 countries as far as the social progress context goes. Thank you. I hand it back.
Yes, Don PK.
Yes. You want to say something, Alex?
No, I've Googled and it's very right. I've seen that. I'm going to read it. Thank you for sharing that information. It's very interesting, though, and it's something that we should read and understand. Thank you, Mr. Jeremiah.
Okay, thank you. Now that we have that clarity, Island, you had something you wanted to say?
Yeah, I'm happy that the viewers also had to say something. It depends with the context. It depends with the context, and I'm happy now the debate has a little bit cooled down. So I'll go back again and say, even if you open your shop, you have to use data. How many people, how many clients that you have, and that's the same with health and everything. For example, like COVID, which broke just all over the world. We have to work with data. You understand? So it depends in which context the data is being, and that's why Jerumani was talking about it. So I'm happy. I'm happy what I was saying. I was also correct. Thank you so much, PK.
Thank you very much. I hope people are collecting data on mediocrity that is happening in Ruto's governance, so that by the next, they should give us data-supported mediocrity for the last 100 days. Yeah. Then it can support what we already see. Of course, data supports, but there is also danger with the data. These days, data is just maneuvered and manipulated to suit the objective of whoever is doing it. That's the problem. People have abused science now. So sometimes we prefer you go on to the ground. We call it ground. You go ground, unaangalia physical. Thank God digits imekuja. You can take cameras, and take photos of people starving, cows falling down like they did all over. You can take photos of shops running empty. You can take photos of people talking about Hustler Fund. So in this digital era, huwezi kudanganya mtu. There is data, there is what we call it, media, napiga picha. Then there is of course talking to mwananchi directly. Kwa hivyo, yes, let's engage on. One bottom line we are here agreeing is that Kenya is headed in the most disastrous way. There was some data that were released some few weeks ago. To me, that was rubbish. It was nonsense. And I know most of those companies also have been bought, unfortunately. In Kenya, everything has been bought. And these companies, they want to sell. The gazettes want to sell. People saying, sijui 50-something%, no, 50-something, very, very small difference. At 52, sijui, they said things were not okay. Then 40-something, 48, ati ndio walikuwa wanasema mambo ni mbaya, ni mzuri. Since when? Olisikia wapi? Ati Ruto can rate, hiyo at almost 50-50. At in 100 days is reduced. Then Wambugu, I will not stop mentioning this because unfortunately that interview was sent to me. And he's saying one of the things that Ruto has achieved is that he has moved all over the world, on international relations. Kenyans, we are fools, akia Mungu. Mpaka ma MPs wetu ni manongwe tu. I can decide to fly all over with Kenyan money. Citizen, nikienda nikisalimia watu na nikichukua selfie. Then you say Stone PK is doing very well in PR. He has not told. You don't tell us what you have gone to do. Kama umeenda Singapore, tuambie ulikutana na nani, wapi, what were you discussing? Ati Ruto has made the highest number of travels that no one else has done. Look at how foolish Kenyans are. Na hiyo ni pesa ya mwananchi inakuliwa. People are not even questioning. When Ruto went with a delegation that was the biggest, the biggest was it in the US? Kenyans wanapiga makofi tu. Na even the so-called MPs. Tumerogwa nini? Kwa kikwetu tunasemanga tulirogwa na mrogi akakufa. Unajua once ukirogwa na mrogi na akufe, kuisha wewe. Because you cannot go back to have it reversed. So I think Kenya imerogwa na mrogi wa kutoka mahali kunaitwa Uvarire, na ni mzee mmoja alikuwa ndio mnoma na akadai. Kwa hivyo Kenya tuko nini? Wacha ni take this opportunity to welcome one of our very good panelists, respectable Bwana Nguru, karibu sana. Kabla uongee, wacha naona Geoffrey Ouma ameinua mkono. Ukimaliza Bwana Nguru.
I just wanted to add something.
Yeah.
Imagine wanapatia Ruto around 50+%. Now this guy kuingia only in 3 months, then imefika 1 million and 1 trillion only in 3 months peke yake.
Good performance.
Walifikia wapi mpaka akapata 50+? Mtu amefikia. Because me what I know, he only annually reward the closer people ambao alikuwa nao. Hiyo ndio kitu ambacho alimanage ku reward peke yake, but the other things no, hapo alidanganya.
Thank you Geoffrey Ouma. Geoffrey Ruto, kama umechoka na hii channel bwana, funga bwana, usije hapa, fungua yako. Open yours bwana. Acha kuumia. Close yours. Aya, Germany, and then we go to Guru.
Sorry. I was acknowledging Guru's entrance by raising a thumbs up. Not that I had anything to say.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful Germany. Bwana Guru, karibu sana. Ukumbi ni wako. Habari ya asubuhi huko.
Habari yenu Stone PK, Alex, Godfrey,
Nzuri sana.
Jeremani and Ira.
Nashukuru sikuweza promise yetu imeni.
I hope you are doing fine.
All right.
Yeah, I'll go straight to the point. Somebody has just asked and raised the issue of 1 trillion debt in 100 days and where the money is going. If you go back to that television debate between Gachagua and Martha, you will find somewhere where Gachagua said they will seek to raise 500 billion in the shortest time possible to pay off pending bills. So do you have to ask anymore where the money is going? It's obvious that there are people who perhaps are well connected with these guys and are not being paid. And they are the first priority. That's all what I can say about that debt that we have accumulated. There are people perhaps who are already having their bank accounts burgeoning. And you know what happens with the tendering system in Kenya, and you also know that most of these are fronts for political figures. So we need not guess or second guess where the money is going. That is a priority. It is there. It is captured in the media. So it's nothing new. If in doubt, revisit that debate between Gachagua and Martha Karua. You will find a statement there by Gachagua saying they will be seeking to raise 500 billion within the shortest time possible to pay off contractors. They called them contractors, and that's it. So let's go back to where we are now on issues to do with social welfare. It is like it's collapsed in Kenya. This is a government that does not recognize the space of social welfare in its administration. Okay? So therefore, they have already also indicated that they will be doing away with the Higher Education Loans Board and replace it with another body. I can't remember its name. The changes that are coming, nobody knows how it will affect the funding of university students. So therefore, we are having a government that wants to change everything. Everything that was done in the past was wrong and needs to be changed. That's a mindset of this government. Somebody was making a joke. We might soon also have to change the name of the country. Guys, you remember very well when Moi came into power, he even tried to change it was called National Creed, or it was called what? There is something we were saying after after we sing the national anthem.
Loyalty pledge.
A loyalty pledge. He even changed that one. And many other things he also tried to change, which was very unnecessary. So I don't know whether they also maybe anything is possible with a person obsessed with power. You might even find possibility of changing the constitution to allow faces of the president to be brought back to the to our national currency. There are several types of leaders, and when you see a leader who is obsessed with changing everything, not for its own sake, but to be seen to be doing things, then the country is normally in trouble. Right now, truth be said is that this year could mark yet another very trying moment for the country. Not so much because we deserve it, but because of the planning. I don't know whether you are aware that the rains have not been very good. Yes, they have been there, moderate, but we are likely to face yet another trying year in terms of food situation. The government has, of course, gone out there to import. I don't know whether it is the one importing or it has given people the right to go and import. I believe it is the private sector that will do it. We'll never be told who are these. And I do not also know how they are going to balance the interest of our farmers and the interests of the consumers. That's a political question. The arrangement that was made by Uhuru to have rice bought by the armed forces, the police, and other government bodies, our farmers are saying that that program collapsed. They have not seen it happening during this government. So it means maybe it is being silently withdrawn. So there are many things that are happening, even people cannot understand what's happening. However, Ruto has told us that he has managed to save a lot of money since the withdrawal of our subsidies. He's managed to save a lot of money. It is Deto who always tells us here the governments do not exist as business entities. And I think that is the approach that this government is taking, that we are in the marketplace. You check the bottom line at the end of the day. Doesn't matter about those social welfare programs that were there. I'll give a simple analogy. I know most of you have come from families that have numerous children, especially those who are born slightly after the independence. That's a generation that we call the peace dividends of independence. You know that between 1963 to around 1971, 72, there was a boom, baby boom. And therefore, you can imagine then, if our parents, who and the advantage of getting maybe a piece of land from the clan and so on, you'd provide some family labor on the farm, and your father and mother would expect you to go to school and do well. So they combined those two things. You can imagine if a parent, just because you are many, he thought you could till more land, make more money. And then after 6-7 years, he tells you, you know what? I've accumulated a lot of money in the bank out of the farm sales. And that is in total exclusion of you going to school. I think that is the situation we are in right now in Kenya. I don't know what the implications will be, because what is happening now will have an implication in the next maybe 5, 6, 7 years. Because if children stop going to school, if the medical situation becomes worse, we obviously have an impact on the society going forward. So it is for Kenyans to make up their minds. They either raise their voice and tell the government, no, that's not the way to do things, or we just keep quiet. And I don't know whether we have a few brave souls like that of Raila Amolo Odinga and Imanyara and Paul Moite and the rest who can raise their voices on behalf of the wider Kenyan society, or seems quite a number have rant that it doesn't pay. You don't fight for Kenyans and expect anything in return. You just give up your life and that's it. So that is a basic situation in which we are. Thank you for now. PK,
Thank you.
take it.
Yeah, thank you, Guru. Thank you so much for that. And I see Geoffrey has a question. Geoffrey?
Not question. I just want to add something about subsidy. Vitu ambao Nguru ameongea. Just look at this government. Imagine time ya Uhuru, we had something called Linda Mama. We had something kuhusiana na pesa ya wazee. Jamaa ameingia, kitu ya kwanza ametoa Linda Mama. I'm just trying to figure out how it will happen. Linda Mama ilikuwa inasaidia sana, but sahi ameitoa. Education kulikuwa na subsidy, akaitoa. Sasa I don't know how this year watu watakoperate nayo. Just imagine alikuwa amedanganya watu kuwa akiingia kitu ya kwanza ambayo atarudisha chini ni unga bei, but sasa hivi anaongea anasema tungoje mpaka March, at least ikifika March ndo bei zitapungua. I think in Kenya the future is really in black. We kwa tusema kuna mali tunasonga na I don't know how we'll do it, kwa sababu hata tukisema tunasubiri things are zinaendelea kuwa worse every day. Things zinaendelea kuwa worse. Nguru amesema kuwa we have to decide. It's true, we have to decide. But now, which way now? Because kama education hapo tayari shatumesi. Linda Mama ametoa, sasa hivi mama wanaumia, kumaanisha kuwa ukienda kuzaa lazima utalipa pesa. Na sasa hivi watu hawana pesa kwa mfuko. Education hakuna vile watu atalipa salary, watalipa ni hiyo school fees, kwa salary pia hata haiko. Alikuwa anaongea kuhusu kwa abolish mambo ya, alikuwa na abolish hizi boarding schools. I don't know who is advising this guy. I think ni hao watu kina Itumbi, wale jamaa ambao wanasema do security professors, wale ambao wanajua issues za security, wanajua issues za how government is supposed to be run. I think those are the people who are advising this man. That's why he's messing everything around.
Yeah, Simeon, let me say something small about that.
Okay.
Even the greatest and the most powerful countries in the world, fortunately or unfortunately, who call themselves capitalists, have a sort of socialism in themselves. Look at the Social Security Act that Roosevelt started. Why did he start the Social Security? Because he realized when people retired, they became desperate. They were not able to work. They were not able to pay their mortgages and other bills. And they formed the Social Security Act, which until today is one of the benefits that you can never take out of this country. And that's form of socialism. Look at Obamacare. Obamacare is another socialist agenda. And all these socialist agenda are subsidized. We have a program called Weeks for Kids. When you get a child, you automatically qualify for Weeks in this great country that where people still work and make a lot of money. They subsidize school education for every child. The last report I was reading is for every child. I think the American school system, with free lunch, transportation, and everything it does to one child, it uses almost 8,000 per school semester. Look at the subsidies on utilities. When it's wintertime here in Minnesota, if you are not able to pay for your gas and your electricity, haitakatwa, and nobody will dare do that. The government subsidizes it and pays for it. So the issue of subsidies, I'm not sure nani anadanganya Ruto. Maybe it's David Ndii. I'm not sure. That is his economic advisor. But the issue of subsidies is a worldwide thing, even to the most powerful countries. In order to allow the citizens to have extra money so that money circulation can be there, you ought to subsidize things so that people can have more money in their pockets to buy a TV, to put cable, to do all these things so that you can create jobs. You cannot create jobs by taking subsidies away, because then there is no money left for data. There is no money left for Wi-Fi. There is no money left for cable. There is no money left for other things. So you find that you are spending and you do not have money to do other things. Thus, the economy cannot grow. Subsidies are meant to put more money on the pocket so that the index, the consumer index, can be there. So that, you see, the economy grows by selling and buying. So if you are not able to buy something, how can you create jobs? Who's going to buy those products? So what they have literally done, and I'll give you, I thought it was 55, and I think Kenyan with Love told me that 64. When I looked today again, the index is 74 companies major have moved out of Kenya because electricity is too expensive. Electricity alone, you can't run a company. You know that people are not bureaucrats who go and get government, contracts. People are in production business. Therefore, they are using energy. Energy has become extremely expensive for them. Now they are moving to countries like Egypt, who subsidize what? Their energy, because business is sustainable. So once you take the subsidies away, you may think you're taking it from Alex and Stone PK, but you're also affecting companies who are doing direct foreign investment. So that's the unfortunate thing. And people are facing mass job losses, and that is bringing that poverty index, which Jeremiah just told us. And I think we are going to move from 116, which was a little bit better, Jeremiah. Maybe we are going to go to 168 if we don't take care of what is happening in our country. Very soon, Kenyans have been some of the most progressive and most literate people in the world. Wherever we go, we perform. Very soon, you will find that Kenya cannot export human capacity development. We have been one of the people who have been exporting human capacity development to where? To Qatar, to Middle East. Even here, if you go to Atlanta CDC, you find only Kenyans are working there. Some Africans, the biggest large number is Africans. So I think it's going to be history whereby taking of these subsidies is going to affect this country adversely, because Ruto wants us to be poor. And poverty is what he likes in us. One time, he used to call Raila Lord of Poverty. And this Barack Muluka read a book and told him that he's the Lord of the Flies, because the people who follow him like flies. And he stopped using that word, Lord of Poverty. And the thing is that he is now the Lord of Poverty. He is making Kenyans poorer than what they were. And that's what he wants. Guru, I saw your hand. Maybe you wanted to respond to me.
Yes, I'm telling you this, that this country has never been in a most trying moment than it is now. Alex, yesterday there's a report that already Tanzania has inked a contract to construct, to extend its railway right inside DRC. One of the things that has made this country thrive, Kenya, is its strategic positioning. And one of the things that make that strategic positioning be beneficial is because countries that are our neighbors have in the past inevitably hauled their goods, their cargo through our country. So we gain something. But right now, what is happening is that Kenya stands that risk of losing its strategic positioning and being able to tap into resources of our neighbors. Our neighbors are not sleeping. They are working hard to get a piece of the pie. Therefore, I saw that they are going to extend to 1,000 and something kilometers. And what is most interesting is that railway line will only cost 271 billion Kenya shillings. And it is thousands of kilometers. Now, when you look at our own, already I don't know how much we have spent. So it is a race against time. If Tanzania cracks it, because they are saying by 2026, they'll have completed the work. We are done. We are done, and that's it. So this government has a lot of work to do. Some of these petty politics, like the ones that we engaged in, or change the, clearing station from Naivasha to Mombasa and on and on. The other countries are not waiting for us to play such petty politics. They are moving on. So very soon we might find ourselves trapped with infrastructure that is not being used, and you pay for it. And imagine you have taken a loan, you have put in a business, and nobody comes to buy. It impoverishes the country more. So even as we play these small politics, internal ethnic politics, the world is moving on. Okay, when some pockets of the country think that Raila is the problem as an individual, then we have a problem. Rather than harness the knowledge and resources that we have, you can imagine Raila is the AU representative of the infrastructure, and maybe how much will benefit in case his knowledge is tapped. So therefore, Tanzania is a giant that is coming up very fast. At the rate at which we are going, the other day, Tanzanian money were exchanging at, I think, around 22 shilling. Now it is 18. So it only shows you these people are moving and moving too fast. If we move the way we are moving ourselves, in the next maybe 10 years, Tanzania will be the giant in this region. So these are serious matters. And you know what happens is that, like Alex has said, electricity is a big component of manufacturing. So the moment energy cost is unbearable or cuts into profits, and with the East African market and the COMESA market, those companies will move to the other countries and make Kenya the market for their products. That's basically what it is. So we are sitting here on our laurels. If you ask some Kenyans, they'll tell you we are more advanced than Tanzania and the rest. Yes, we may have taken off fast, but it doesn't mean we are going to remain there. It all depends on how we play our game. Okay, so it's going to be a race against time. And the way I'm seeing right now with the issues that are happening, we can only hope, just hope, which may be based on quicksand. Countries are not run on a whimsical policy frameworks. Today you are here, tomorrow you are there. In fact, I can tell you that there are those companies that have left Kenya because of the uncertainty of policy framework. Look at the situation like the one in Naivasha. You market the place as a industrial hub. Then all of a sudden you make decisions that actually injure the basic businesses there. Those people will not come again. They will be jittery. There are people who are crying there because they borrowed money. They started putting up huge hotels that can attract even tourists. But today, they don't know what to do. They are left with a shell. When you have a government that does not have a predictable policy framework, you are setting the country for failure. And because we mix our policies with the petty politics, then perhaps that's why even people like Museveni, because they know us very well, they are not very sure whether to bank on us. They are not. The pipeline, there was a pipeline that was to cross through Kenya as they exploit their oil, and we exploit ours. We are to have a joint kind of project, but somehow that also went cold. So there are big issues here. We are sitting here jumping up and down and thinking all is well. All is not well. The former president seemed to be acutely aware of the precarious situation that we were in, and went out of his way even to form bridges with the DRC and the rest, so that even as we may lose others, we may gain others. But we can only wait and see what this government is going to do. Otherwise, it's not that we could easily lose our strategic positioning, which is actually our strength. That's what brings the money. Thank you.
Asante sana Guru. You've really brought in some very shattering revelations for those of the people who are not very well informed. Those people who still dream and keep on saying Kenya is there, Kenya is advanced, Kenya is big economy. We've been duped. Ni kama unaambiwa ukae ukiimba ati Kenya vile economa, Kenya lost it many years ago. And I always say, you lose it when you lose leadership. You correctly put it, that we are busy engaging on who is the kingpin of... Look at that nonsense in this time and era. At nani kingpin ya wapi? Kingpin ya Mount Meru? No, Mount Kenya kingpin. Mimi ni mtoto wa Mau Mau. Look at that. Sincerely speaking, as much as we look down upon some of these countries neighboring us, and Kenyans Bigger majority have not traveled, and bigger majority don't read news from other countries because they think they've been duped that we are the best. Oh, we are the best in East Africa. Best in what? Oh, we are strategically positioned. What does that mean? Oh, we have the biggest coastline. Have you looked Tanzanian coastline? From Tanga all the way to kule kunaitwa nani? Kule South Coast, kule South kabisa, kule kunatoka hii gasi ya zogozogo. Mtwara. From Tanga to Mtwara. Do you know how many kilometers that is? Of coast. Okay? So it's good you brought that up. And this is gonna tutaumia because sisi miaka 10 hapa tutakuwa tu tunaimba dance. Oh, Ruto is the best president, give him time to deliver. When he has stopped anything, when will he start them? Sasa yeye ana restart kila kitu, education system. How many times have you had Tanzania changing the education system? And they have some of the best doctors. Uganda the same. They have some of the very good doctors who are all over the world competing with Kenya. As much as sisi huwa tunaringa our English is very good. Inatupeleka wapi? Kiingereza inakupeleka wapi? Mtanzania huyo unasema ajui Kiingereza, ndio huyo anapepea. Sasa ndio hiyo SGR. SGR imefika mahali kunaitwa Kigoma sasa. Alafu so let's not be myopic. Wanacheka tu wakisikia vile hapa election tunaiba election bombers, tunaanza kusema oh, mimi ndio president. Unfortunately, Kenya is doomed, ilirogwa, and it is doomed that it will be brought down by these people from Rift Valley. Okay? And I keep on saying, these people have no leadership. Sijui vile unaweza kupatia mwizi wa ng'ombe aende akakuchungie ng'ombe. Somebody who culturally believes in stealing people's cows and goats and everything, unamwambia aende akakuchungie hizo ng'ombe. You are lost. You are lost. Look at all these raids we keep on hearing. Oh, cattle rustling. Why is it only in Kenya? Have people asked themselves that? Mbona kwa Museveni hakuna cattle rustling? Na iko Karamojong na wale wengine huko. Why is cattle rustling only in Kenya?
Museveni alizima hiyo Karamojong. Leo you can't hear of those things.
It is, yeah. So
alizima.
I was in Uganda when he did that. But now these are thieves who believe in stealing, so they are encouraging it. Juzi ati mtu ameenda ati anaona, unapeana warning. You don't have to peana warning. Put on the jungle. Vaa hizo nguo, kaa huko wiki moja. Be in the front line. You are the commander in chief of the armed forces. Tembea na hiyo jango hapo. Tukuone. Na dare them to come. After 1 week, come back to Nairobi. Waambie if they dare anything, mwaga jeshi pale. Wapi? Unachunga kwa sababu you are part of that cartel. You are part of hiyo wizi wa ng'ombe. Time in, time out. Wizi tu, wizi. Yeah? Oh, sijui ni hawa, this tribe is doing this. It's a shame. Most of the things that are happening in this country called Kenya, it's embarrassing. And no wonder utakuta development wise we are going to rank. Wacha hizo statistics Jerumani unasema Kenya baada ya miaka 10 utakuwa unaonea nchi zingine na view sasa. Ziko huko hizo mnafikiria ni mbaya. Akina Museveni is not foolish. He's killing Kenya, finishing Kenya completely. Na Sulubu pale amenyamaza anatulia tu. Tanzania is a superpower ikipata uongozi mzuri ambao imepata sasa. Sulubu amechukua steps za huyu nani Magufuli. Hata tuwezi enda kuota ya utajiri ya Tanzania. Hapa tunaringa ati we are sijui nini. Where you cannot even hold elections, we don't know how to count votes. Mtu anakuja anachukua election na hata hajakuwa elected. We are floppy and we will have it very rough. Nani anataka kusema kitu tukiangalia raundi ya
There's something I wanted to say in regard to the SGR. Congo preferred Kenya, and Congo is a friend of Kenya. But our politics it went to a toxic level, to a point that Congo realized that we are not dependable. And why is it so? Immediately, Ruto became the president. To show Uhuru that he's in charge, he took the port operational from Naivasha dry port back to Mombasa. In the few days that he did that, he thought he was punishing Uhuru, but other countries really suffered. One of the countries that suffered and directly called Ruto and actually even warned him was Southern Sudan. You can understand other countries, their transportation system is a little bit better. I'm not saying it's the best, but compared to Southern Sudan, it became completely unsustainable to operate from Mombasa all the way to Juba. And the economy of Southern Sudan was going to be affected because of that move. Just a small mistake of Ruto trying to punish Uhuru almost killed some economies in our neighboring countries. So we became bad neighbors. And that happened within 1 month of Ruto becoming the president. Economies were affected, including Museveni's economy, who was a friend to Ruto. Now you can see Southern Sudan, Uganda, Congo, Rwanda, and Burundi, they suffered because of such a small mistake, because he wanted to punish Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta because of the dry port in Naivasha. Because nasikia hiyo shamba sijui ni yake ama ni nini, whatever it is, we don't care. Now, when such things happen, countries must look for alternatives that are stable. And you may find that the people that are building now that SGR at Tanzania are doing it so because of the instability of now our leadership that we have. We do not only have economic instability, but our political instability is going to continue as long as Ruto is the president. And they understand that Kenyans are not cowards. Once Kenyans have decided to become, to picket, it does affect the business of other countries. And that's where we are going from January. So in short, I agree with you that other countries now are going to switch to Tanzania because it's more stable, the government can be trusted, and they are not going to thwart their economies because these are countries that have been unstable for a very long time. It's now that they have started seeing a leap of economic development. So the switching of the port operation from Naivasha to Mombasa in that short time has affected us and will continue to affect us. And we are not going to be trusted by our neighbors. Thank you, Stone PK.
Just to add a bit of what Alex has said, look at it this way. Who we want to jeopardize his economy if the port operations will be dictated by who comes to power after elections? Who wants to get caught up in ethnic politics of Kenya? I don't know, but I understand part of the reason why Museveni was jittery about the pipeline that was to go through parts of Turkana coming up has to do with the security issues. and our politics. You remember what happened in 2007. Who wants to be caught up in those kind of things? Therefore, I'm seeing a situation that Kenya could be deceiving itself that they can still maintain their strategic position. That can only be enjoyed if there is stability in policy, in politics, in economics. But if it is not there, Tanzania could end up being the strategic position of this region very soon through its infrastructural development. Because all what these surrounding countries, our neighbors, require is a sustainable communication system, transport system. The other thing has to do with the corruption in Kenya. There is a lot of leakages and corruption in our systems, our transport systems, theft, and so on and so forth. So therefore, some of these bad habits, I don't think our neighbors would want to tolerate that. You are aware that at one time, Museveni had to come all the way to Mombasa to find out exactly what happens, that the Anguns can take 21 days. And now we want to regress and go back there. Who will tolerate this? Who will wait for our petty ethnic politics to play out with their economies? Ruto and Murkomen had to take a quick flight one weekend to Southern Sudan to go and salvage a business because Southern Sudan had made up their mind to move to Eritrea. That's it. So these people who sit here, some of them talking of how Kenya is a powerhouse in the region, and the other countries can't do without us. They are joking. They are joking. We can easily lose out. And by the way, you are aware Kenya does not have what we would call a strong base of minerals which we depend on. In fact, we've tried to be the position we are in Africa without mineral. Because if you look at other countries, they have at least 1 or 2 minerals that they rely on. Us is just basically service economy with just a bit of agriculture. Very small manufacturing, which is about 7% to the GDP. So where does our wealth come from? That is a question Kenyans must ask. And that is why those who are knowledgeable enough, they know that this country, where we are right now, if we lose the momentum, if we lose that initiative, this is an economy that can regress in the coming 10, 20 years so badly that people will be asking, is this the Kenya that we are living in 2018, 2020? That's it.
Guru, more sad news here. You're very right. Kenya relies on soft economy, very software. Because we say we have human resources, yes, we do. And then what else? Oh, our tourism and all that. At one time, we used to say we had the best national park. That was a lie. It was a lie. Masai Mara is a dot of Serengeti, a dot. So what did Tanzania do? Tanzania invested in attracting experts from Kenya. So all our expertise, ile inaitwa brain drain, They went into Tanzania. For every hotel, 5-star hotel you go, and you can put this for record.
Don't PK, you went there.
Yes. So we were foolish. Tukaachilia ma-experts wote. Tanzania ilitu overtake kitambo. Anzia Zanzibar all the way to Pemba. Unakuta general manager Mkenya, assistant manager Mkenya, chef Mkenya, head of F&B Mkenya. Do you catch up with that? Now wanna instill now our expertise, because we are very good in terms of hospitality. You know, we hosted one of the best tourism colleges south of Sahara. So what did these countries do? They made sure they brought their people for training and took our people. As we are speaking today, tourists were even flocking into Tanzania during COVID. I mean, when flights were open. Kenya tukiwa hatuna. Yeah. So, Guru, you are right. People are seated here. Country like Tanzania has minerals. How many minerals? They have the biggest gas production. Inaitwa gas. Zogo from Mutwara. That can feed the entire of Africa. Ukitaka kutumia gas.
What about irrigation farming? They are expanding massively.
Yeah. So,
and that's why we had a conversation here in the comment section that the production of onions in Tanzania is so low that our production is so high that importing onions from Uganda is much cheaper than growing our own onions because of the government subsidies, and secondly, the expansion of the irrigation in Tanzania.
Thank you, Alex.
If you go to Mudhurwa, where there's a lot of farm produce that is off-roaded there because of the market, you'll be surprised that most of those farm produce are coming from Tanzania right now. I want those who may doubt to go to the economic survey of 2021, or just look at the last 5 years from 2018 coming all the way to 2021, 2022. You will be very surprised. The trade balances are shifting slowly. We used to have a massive advantage over Tanzania because we used to export more of industry, I think, to them. But now, because of the agricultural, that they are slowly cutting off the balance to their favor. So that is it. That's the way the things are.
Look at their factory, their fertilizer factory in Manyara, on your way to Lake Manyara. It's the biggest south of Sahara factory ya nini, ya fertilizer. Na sisi hapa tunatoa fertilizer Ukraine ama tunatoa wapi, Afghanistan ama
Do you know, PK, there was a plan to set up a fertilizer factory initially during Kibaki's time in a place called Kamukuya. But when the ministers who came, you know where they came from, we started hearing of it going to somewhere in Eldoret. From then, we have never heard of anything else about it. That is the tragedy of this country. The political elite seem to have a completely different agenda from that agenda of the country. It is the same case with the Galana Kulalu. This is a project that seems to have been deliberately sabotaged because of our internal political engineering. I need not say more.
Now we are using that land kujenga nyumba.
You need to stone it. You need to stone. The thing that the two projects failed is basically they were asked big time bribes. And even the Israelis were very adamant on it. And even the Israeli ambassador wrote it on an article in our Daily Nation and said the reason why they had stopped being part of such kind of big time projects. Look, it is said, and these are allegations, but I can believe it, that in order to allow foreign direct investment, sometimes you have to pay a bribe of almost 20% of the project that they are bringing. And therefore, it becomes unattainable that those who are bringing that, they do not understand why we should ask. And somebody has put it here clearly that the reason why all these projects now are going, and that's why you can remember Bush went to Tanzania twice while he was the president, and he really helped the energy industry. Remember, the prime minister had to resign because of corruption before Bush had to go there. And therefore, they were able, even though Kikwete was also a little bit corrupt, he was able to put corruption into its right place. But what did Uhuru Kenyatta do? When he went to Israel, he said he can't do it. He doesn't know how to do it. And even exposed us that we are the most corrupt people in the world. When a president says that on an international platform, how do you expect us to even get direct foreign investment? I mean, be honest. Corruption is one of the reasons why most of the people who come to do direct foreign investment, once they get here, they are asked 20% of that investment money. If it's 2 billion, they have to pay 200 million. If they can't pay that, and that's why most of these things, they do what? They go to Uganda, they go to Tanzania, or they end up going to Ethiopia. Thank you, Stone PK.
All right. So, lady, is there a lady? No, yeah, there is a lady. Island ako kwa curtain. I think we've really.
Yeah, okay. Are you closing or I'm behind the
what
curtains. I'm just listening because I'm at
Yeah.
work. That's why.
we want to
But
do a round
but
of
just to yeah,
1
just to
minute.
finish my remarks is that shows, my word is I don't have to spend a lot of time speaking whereby we know our country is corrupt long time ago. And that's why even investors are running away. You understand? I'm a mentor in innovation. You understand? And it shows that our country, you understand, if an investor has to come to a country whereby your people or the people in the country are also going to benefit and get jobs, you understand? Because the investor has to create jobs. And this is in the system, and that's why these leaders in Africa or in Kenya, they want to be so bad, you understand, like head of state, because they know exactly what they want to do, apart from maybe the Raila. But and that's why you see it will continue suffering like that suffering, and these young countries like Tanzania are going to overturn. And I just wanted to finish. I remember when somebody said Kikwetu did a good job too, because when Mandela died, he's the only person in Africa who had to speak. Even by then, I think Uhuru was the president. He was never given a platform to speak. You understand? I remember very well. And when he took the podium with the microphone, they were just seated nearby where Barack Obama was. And they really clapped when Kikwete was going to speak. So Tanzania was on the march. The international community, they realized that Tanzania, even though they don't speak Swahili, they don't speak English, sorry, but at least if you watch the level of corruption, we cannot say each country has a little bit corrupt inside, but Kenya is taking another level. And even it used to be Nigeria, but I think now Kenya is even more, at the forefront, corrupt, you understand, than even Nigeria. Because even when Nigeria are going for election, it's not the level the Kenyans are doing. The leaders are doing, you just steal the votes, and these leaders, you go and manifest and say, I will do for you this, I will do for you this.
If Uhuru Kenyatta told Kenyans, don't elect this person because of this and this and that, of course, he was not elected. But there are people who, his tribe, there are people, and there are also those cabinet secretaries who are behind him, rallying behind him. You understand? So after the job is done, and here people